Welcome back. Video number 2 for module number 3, web. Now I'm going to change the subject a little bit and I'm going to talk about the web design aspect. We are going to see how to work with Dreamweaver and how to set up a web page and how to plan and set up a website and how to add folders and pages. And we are going to talk about wireframe and we are going to talk about frames. What does it entail? But beforehand, I want to go back to the website and I want to that everyone will understand what does it entail. When you log on to consumer login, you're not going to provide your username that you selected in order for you to enter. You will provide what they generate for you in order for you to get into the panel, in order for you to see what does it entail. In order for you to do that, you will need to have the username and password that they decide, and usually you can find those information in the panel. Panel provide you this information. And so what I want to focus in this short segment on the website is the subdomain. What does it mean? You're going to create a subdomain to your module. Every module that you're going to post, you're going to create a module, say module number 2. I did that in my own page. You see that in this case, I had the assignment module number 1, module number 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to create modules, and every time module, you're going to assign what you have done in that module. And so in this case, you're going to create a module, and that will allow you to post what you have done on the website itself, like I did here in my own website. So in this case, my script is a subdomain, my SQL is a subdomain, and all of that allowed me to be able to upload the files and not throw all my file into one folder. That does not work so well. They will not allow you to do that. So you need to be very strategic about how you sort it up, and I want you to talk to your partner in your website development, that you will need to understand the structure and how you can handle it. So this is really important. Okay, so back to our subject, and we are going to talk about Dreamweaver. And Dreamweaver, you can access Dreamweaver if you're going to apps.usf.edu. You're going to ability to log on to it, and you will log on to a Adobe Creative Cloud, and you're going to click on Dreamweaver 2014. That will allow you to start running Dreamweaver. What's unique about Dreamweaver? It is a great platform to start the design aspect, and you will have the ability to see here that when you're creating a new page, example, the index.html is HTML. When you're going to run a JavaScript, and you will embed the design aspect, you will be able to create a specific page that is specific to a JavaScript. And when we will learn about PHP, the Dreamweaver allows you to do that. So this is something that is really good and will hopefully will make your life easier. So let's start with the HTML. When you start HTML, it will give you the ability to create a domain, as you can see here, and I will talk about that. This will give you a folder that you will need to upload to your site, the hosting company that we are hosting your site. So in this case, you're going to use the FTP to upload your files. And if you have a problem with that, please let me know, because this is something that will go back and forth when we are going to work on your scripting and your design aspect throughout the semester. So I want you to be aware of that, and I want you to make sure that you understand how to work with that. There is a lot of materials about Dreamweaver, and I will put it in this module as a reference. But again, the best way, as I learn it, is doing it yourself. Okay, so let's start with exploration of Dreamweaver and what does it allow us to do. I am very familiar with the SC5. I am not familiar with the 6. I don't need that. For me, it's a design tool, and that's what I want you to use in order for you to have a sense what does it consist of, and how can you make your website, the project that you're going to work, more dynamic in order for you to apply to what the project outline. So what is a website? A website is usually a group of related web pages that are linked together and share a common interface and design. This is really important. If you will have in your final project 4 pages that looks the same and then 2 pages that does not look the same, that will be a no-no, which means not good. Your goal is to make a concise feel and look to the entire interface of the website. So interface is your job, and I want you to have understanding what does it entail. So what is the Dreamweaver offers? First of all, it is a design tool. It's come from the family of Photoshop and InDesign, and it is really simple to use. The only thing that you will need to do, I will not go through step by step, but I will give you an overview. You will need to do that yourself. Go over all the components of Dreamweaver, become very familiar with that. It is very good organizational tool and site management tool. You will see that in this case, you will use the site. You will have a window that will allow you to establish your website itself, and you will see all the components that your website will consist. I want to see at least 7 pages on your website, something that you will need to design. Dreamweaver also works quite well with menus, panels, the ability to inspectors and pens, and you will see how it will work to make your life easier. So the idea here is that when you design, you will see immediately the interface that you are designing. In an example, this is the image inside is the end result, and you will see that all the components, navigation bar, navigation toolbar, the menu names, the document window, the status bar, property inspector, the tag and the select and the handout and the zoom and the file panels are all inside, and you need to work with that because this is not a on hands class. It is online. I cannot control you. You will need to do the work yourself. I'm here to help you, and I'm here twice a week in order for you to, if you have questions, please come see me. You can do that via Skype or via come to the physical office. Yes, I have a physical office, and come and I will go work with you one by one. So the idea here is that we will learn today about layouts. We will talk about forms. We will talk about text and everything related. The workplace that is so nice in Dreamweaver, even though I personally do not like the Dreamweaver, it creates in the background a lot of garbage that I don't like to see. So one of the things that you will need to do is to clean up the garbage, because we have more than one browser that we look at a website. We have, if you are using the Mac, we have a browser for the Mac, we have a browser for the PC, but we also have a specific website that allowed us to look at a website through our phone. This is a different platform, and so you need to be prepared for that, and you need to be aware of that, and by doing that, that will allow you to do that. So the coding toolbar contains the ability to see what it entails and see what is it embedded. And you need to work with a workplace. I know that in the mass comm, you never worked with a workplace. No of the instructors in mass comm taught you about the workspace. It is where you keep all the files that the HTML will display. So you have to create a workspace that is contain images for the website. And this is really important because this is where you're going to find all the images that you worked. It's the end product of your files that you worked. Example, you started with a Photoshop, and then you save the Photoshop to a JPEG or GIF. But the file itself is, you don't need to upload the Photoshop format into the website. You need to only to upload the final product, which is consistent with the web environment. Because space is costly in this website, you need to be very careful. I will delegate next class about what is Photoshop, how to work with Photoshop in order for you to do that. Today, I'm going to focus only on Dreamweaver, and Dreamweaver give you the idea of how to work with workspace. So we have the panel, we have the dock, which is the collection of the panels, and we have a lot of ability to add to it. There is also the status bar, and it is the ability to show how the HTML is being displayed, and ability to select tool that allowed you to edit the page. The home page in this case will be called index.html. This is the first page that will appear when you go to the website. This is the default. I don't want to see you called the first page home page and you don't find it, because the web server will not recognize it. It has to be called index.html. So the web pages are primarily for text and media rich and images, sound, and movies. So let's talk about a little bit more about the design aspect. In this case, as you can see here, we have, if we will break down not the impression that we have of the website, we have a structure here with regard to the design. We have a banner, which is the national endorsement of the arts. We have an image that says artworks, and we have search features inside. We have links to the main page of the site. We have contact information, and we have other things that we are like to add to it to make it more official. I want you to start thinking about that in that sense. Next class, next module, we are going to talk about how do we design that in Photoshop and how we apply that, how do we break it down in the HTML, because we will not do that in the entire piece. We will break it down to small pieces in order for the HTML to take it. So the basic web page we talked about in module number 1, and module number 2 we talked about the HTML. We talked about the hyperlink that are images and text that allowed us to display or to connect to another page or another image. So images can add visual interest to a website. Banners are images that display logos, contact information, or link to other sites. This is a very narrow definition, but banners is also the idea that get excitement into your website. We also have menu bar, which is where the navigation takes place. And we also have image map, which is the image that has been divided into sections, each of which serves as a link. If you looked at my web page that I created in Google website, you will see that they have an image map to all the links that I created. But they also provides you with a menu bar that allows you to do that. The issue with Google website is that it lacks the ability to customize your visualization or customize the design based on your needs and your specific application. That's why I don't like it. I want you to be able to customize and to work with a programmer in your team in order for you to design something that is appealing and that is your work, that you will be able to show it to maybe future employers. So the idea here is that the navigation structure of the site refers to the way the menu bars and the other internal links are used on the web page. And we can also embed it in the website, and we will learn it in module number 11, how to provide rich media, and also to how to embed it, example, your Twitter account into the web page. So people will be able to see what you are doing in Twitter or Facebook and see it live on the website. So again, here is another division of how we are looking at that and how look at the images, how it changed everything. And again, same structure as I showed you before, but in this case, different images, different atmosphere background, and allowed us to display something else. So you're going to plan and set up a website. You're going to have set up a structure. You're going to create pages. You're going to test the pages. You're going to modify the pages. And then in the end, you're going to publish the site. So you need to ask yourself, and especially the people from mass comm, you need to ask yourself, who is your target audience? How can I tailor the site to reach my audience? You need to ask yourself, who are the people who are going to the farmers market? I am one example. So maybe you want to talk to me or ask me a question, why do I go to the farmers market? And I know that your advisor, Garcia, the Professor Garcia, also go to the farmers market. So maybe you need to talk to him too about his experience with farmers market and what he expects to see in the farmers market, because I have different view of what I want to see and how the website needs to implement that. So again, you need to be aware of it. If you will have a job, real job, that actually pay you money to build a website, you need to be very concerned about budget. I will not talk about budget in this class. So you need to have, I want you to have a timeline. I want you to know who is your teammate, and I want you to become familiar with them and to see if you share the same ideas of how the design of the website. I don't want you to have fights. Yes, fights are good, but sometimes fight is not productive. I want you to be productive in order for you to have ability to display your own style, your own design, and how to implement it on the web. One of the things that we need to always talk about is wireframes. It is this wireframes basically is the storyboard. And if you took all the classes in design by Professor Holly, and I'm sure that also Professor O'Brien, he talked about storyboard. What is your storyboard? Create a storyboard. Try to establish a relationship between each page and to all the pages in your website. Always visualize how each page in the site links to others. So this is your assignment. This is really hard work. This is not a picnic anymore. And I think you need to make sure that you understand that. And again, I'm here to help if you have run into problems. So while wireframes help you to help the client to see how the page will look and work together. In your case, you're going to work with your programmer in order for you to create the website. And range from simple to interactive and multi-dimensional. So the idea here is that where is the main page, where is the home, where is about us, what about the other subdomain, and where's the pages that are connected. Example, about activities. In these cases, cruises and fishing. In fishing, under activities. So again, you are tailoring how the viewer going to see your site and how he going to experience this navigation inside your product. So this is really important. So one of the things that I want you to make sure that you understand is that Dreamweaver created a site folder that is the root folder that should contain the asset or the images. So you need to show that you will be able to upload it to the website that you're going to create the website, and you're going to see how it lay out for you in order for you to apply that. So again, plan and set up the website. You're going to see the name of the website. You need to know what folder is it in your own computer. I don't want to receive email at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're going to say to me, I lost all my files of the website. You need to know that. Put it on writing, because at 3 o'clock I'm still working. I am an alcoholic guy that always work at 3 o'clock. This is the best time that I'm working. So I don't want to receive email from you from panic. So again, make sure that you know where the folder is and where it consists, and make sure that you know you'll highlight for Dreamweaver to be able to pick it up from there. Don't want to hear any cannot find the page. Okay, so you need to have a folder that you have all this information. Where is it, where it comes from, and how we apply that. And I want you to test your page on Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Google Chrome, and Safari. I use Safari and I use Mozilla quite often, and if I will find that there is difference between them, that is not good. You need to make sure that everything is concise, everything is matched up. So I explained last in module number 1 what is a web server. And again, I repeat it again. This is the allowed users that you do not know and cannot access your computer, allow them to see what you have done. So you need to be sure that you upload all the files into the server. And you can add folders and pages, and this is where you do that, and this is how you set it up in your local folder that Dreamweaver create for you. This is where you're going to set it up and be able to see it. So again, the home page is always index.html. This is where you're going to see, and in your final project, you're going to create more than 7 pages. So you're going to have the starting page will be index, and then you're going to create a PHP files that will be able to connect to the database to display that. So you will be more active in that, and you will see that as we go along. So again, you're going to learn how to add web pages to the website. You're going to see that using Dreamweaver. And again, this is all the files that you're going to create in order for you to do that. In this case, in this image, you see the pages are HTML. In your website, you're not going to have all the pages HTML. You're going to have only one page that is basically based on HTML. The rest of it will be based on PHP, which is a programming language. So you will also learn how to apply under programming language, how to apply the web technology or web syntax in order to display your design. So again, design a good website requires more than just putting together in the last 5 seconds few pages. I want you to have thoughts. I want you to have some ideas, and this is a good example of a website. Look what I've done. Think about that. What they have done, how did they made it, what is the idea behind it, see what it contains. Think about the layout. Think about how the navigation. Is it clear navigation? Is it how to locate information on the page? Is it visually unappealing? So in my first class, when in module number 1, I showed you example of students that the visual was unappealing. Your job is to make it more appealing, not by asking me 3,000 times if I like it or not. No, I don't want that. I want you to be sure, and you will be satisfied with the visual appearance of your website. I want you to experience. I want you to explore. Try to play with colors. Try to play with different palettes that we will learn in Dreamweaver, and try to make it appeal that you as the designers for you it will be appealing, and you will learn how to explain why it was appealing. One of the things that we often use in HTML is tables. So the title of this page is table, table, table. So use table to lay out your pages. Make the table boundaries invisible or visible based on your visual perspective. A 2x2 tables work quite well to a lot of websites. So they have the logo on the left side, the header in the middle, and then they have the menu and the content. And you see, this is the layout of, it's like a piece of art. In a piece of art, usually we have a layout of the page. We have where we are looking at the art. In a website, we have more idea of how we want to attract the user to understand where he wants to find his information. So in this case, again, this is the website 2x2. See where the logo is. Look where they found the banner, and where's the text, and why is the text is also associated with the image, and where's the navigation of the site. Other designs menu on the right, many columns. Again, look at Microsoft. If you're not familiar with Microsoft website, this is a good time to look at that. So again, even though we don't think about that, they use 2x2. They have the logo, and what they did was playing with the navigation in 2 dimensions, specific and very specific. In the upper case, in the banner level, they did general, and in the to the left, the navigation is to more specific. Example, Windows, Office, Business Solution, and blah blah blah. And then they have the text in the middle and links inside, and again in the right hand they have the today's news, download, and so on. So again, this is how they organize it. We can look at universities. A lot of old universities, this is how they apply that. And again, look at how they structure that. In the top they have the logo, and in this case I did not see the logo, so I thought this is a good example. I want you to design a logo for your farmers market. Simple one will be great. And so create a logo, play with it to make it more appealing. I know that a lot of you are ESPN biggest fans. So again, look at how they structure that. So again, where's the logo? Where's the navigation? Where they lay out everything and how they made it more appealing to people to access and to find the information they are looking for. Example, nowadays everyone is looking for hockey scores or hockey latest news. So again, see where they assigned or designed the website in order for it to fit. Next class, we are going to talk about the window size. What does it mean? We have the idea of what type of screen the user has. We have the standard 800 by 600, or we have a bigger size, 1024 by 768, which becomes more popular. So this is again result of 3 years ago, but nowadays majority of the users use a high resolution. So we need to fit to that, and we will learn how to do that. So again, this is how we will see that and how to apply that into the design, the aspect. So because monitors are different, page will look different, and again, I want you to have it in your back on your mind, and we will see more about that. You can use percentage in the table, for example, make it 80% of the width of the page, so you will know that percentage will play an important part of how the user will see it. Again, example, there's so many examples. Just be creative. Look at other people, what they have done and how they done it, and see what they can do that. Organization is part of your job, so you need to decide what goes on in each page, what is it holds and how it's been structured, and have some good web communication. You are a mass comm students. I want you to have understanding how to communicate the messages in your website and be able to attract more users to it. So one of the things that was very popular 6-7 years ago is to create a sitemap. As I told you, Google's website that offer you free web hosting site allowed you to create a sitemap. So basically it's the idea of what does it entail. So the splash page is the main page, and then picture galleries, name page, progress page, and Tampa Day trip and Tampa wildfire. You need to create a pages and a page's name. Make it consistent with the page that you're going to title it. Example, picture gallery. So call it gallery.html or PHP. Your recommendation to a Tampa Day trip. So call it tampa.html or PHP. Those are the things that I want you to see and work on in order for you to do that. And of course, I want you to have a theme throughout your design in order for us to see that it's all match up together, it all holds up, and always be consistent in the design. Consistency is really important, and I will keep reminding you about that throughout the semester, but in your final project, that will be very important. I want to end up this discussion and show you about one simple thing. We talked about the Dreamweaver, so you have the ability to save the document, save as. You're going to give it a name, so the first page is going to be indexed HTML. You're going to see ability to preview your website in Safari or Firefox. You're going to see to check the page, is it suitable to, example, phones or to different browser or different things, or the spelling of your page, and you're going to see if it's validate with regard to the technology, and then you can add design notes to it. Today I'm not going to go over all the aspects. I'm going to go over a very simple one, and that is I'm going to go to the insert HTML, and I'm going to go with the frames. And the frames, I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing, because in this case I can create a main frame in the top, and then I'm going to I'm going to click inside and going to create, sorry, my mistake, in the left, and I'm going to create another frame to the right. So in this case it did the opposite, of course it did. It doesn't allow you. Okay, so my mistake here. I'm going to insert HTML frame to the left, and here it is. So I created what Microsoft did, and now you can start working saying, hello world, this is my first page, and create some logo, and then the navigation, test, test 2, test 3, and so on, and going here is going to be my test, and this is news. So in 2 seconds, as you can see, I created my HTML that I'm going to show what have I done. I want you to do that, apply that, and see how successful, and I want you to post it on your website. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learn, and again, I will share with you some more details, instructions about how to apply Dreamweaver, and I want you to start playing with that. You can download the Dreamweaver with apps.usf.edu. So until then, have a good week, and I'll see you next time.